Honorable Malema. Malema.
Sorry,
Oh, sorry.
pause.
Go ahead, Ndat.
Thank you, Ntat. Mr. President, I think you and I agree with you that land ownership patterns in this country must change. That's a good thing. And I want to thank the authors of our Constitution who foresaw Venezuela, who foresaw that, and put Section 25 into the Constitution. It is those South Africans who did a duty, and that's our position. And President Motlanthe is absolutely correct when he says, actually, the reason why there's a problem with land reform is the fact that there's corruption, there's an incapable state, and there's a lack of political will to achieve what the ambitions of the Constitution are. Now, you said to me, I must give you suggestions. Here is one. Your government already owns Wingfield, Youngsfield, and Kulenburg here in Cape Town. This discussion is about urban land ownership. If you are seriously committed to this process, within the current constitution, no need for change, you would release this land as we've asked you since 2006. You will hand over these pieces of land so that we can ensure that South Africans who want to live closer to the city can get housing so that they can get to places of work. Can I ask you, will you commit, will you commit in this house to release these large pieces of land so that we can build hundreds of thousands of houses closer to the city for South Africans who have been left behind, which are already in your hands within the Constitution, so we can give title to South Africans who are left out? Thank you very much.
President.
Thank you, Honorable Deputy Speaker. Honorable Maimani is saying we should release the land, and I informed him that the government Lekgotla, the cabinet Lekgotla, decided that we should immediately embark on a rapid release of land. And we are not worried about releasing land. Clearly, I'm not au fait with the pieces of land that he's talking about, and would like to examine that, because the process that is now going to have to take place is that we obviously are going to be categorizing pieces of land throughout the country. That is what we are going to do. And as we do that, the one thing that is going to be driving what we have to do is how best we can advance the interests of our people. That is the most important thing. And I'm glad that in the end, Honorable Maimani is recognizing that the issue of giving land to our people now has to move ahead. It has to happen. And as it happens, we are going to make sure that it is properly managed, it is properly directed, and so that we can improve the lives of our people. This historical injustice must be brought to an end. And I'm glad that you join us in making sure that this can happen. Thank you very much, Mr. Maimani.
Yes, no, Honorable Malema.
Thanks very much, Deputy Speaker and President. What is more comforting is that when people talk about the people who wrote the Constitution, as if those people are dead, forgetting that they are talking to one of them, and who knows that it can be amended, that Constitution. When he wrote it, included in that Constitution an amendment of the same Constitution. But if you came late to politics, you may not know that you are talking to a person who wrote the Constitution. and you talk to him in past tense as if he's no longer there. Now, President, mine is slightly different. In the EFF, we believe that the state must own the land, the whole land, including Holt Bay and Camps Bay, must be owned by the state. Because this thing of title deeds,
Honorable
President,
Malema, your time. Please ask your question.
this thing of title deeds, Mr. President,
Honorable-
it's a setup. They want you to give our people title deeds, knowing very well that our people are poor. They will sell the land back to them. And the narrative that they stole
time
the
is
land
expired.
will go away. Do you agree
No.
that the state must be the owner of the land?
Mr. President.
No, Honorable Maimani, I think you and I agree that land must be given to our people. And that's what you and I agree on. And I know that one of the things that's driving you to say that the state must own all the land is this fear that you have that our people will be driven to start selling the land. And that is precisely one of the things that many people said, that, you know, you give black people title deeds, they will soon sell the land or the houses, and they will remain poor. That is a false fear, I'm afraid, because our people who have had title deeds and who are currently being given title deeds become so proud that finally, in the end, they own something that they can show and demonstrate with their hands. So, Honorable Maimani, I think we should not rob.
Orders, Deputy Speaker.
Untshwarele mo.
Yes, Honorable Member. What are you-
You're calling me with the wrong names, man.
You can't
Untshwarele.
all speak.
No, untshwarele. Aw. Nka etsa mistake e kgolo-kgolo ke compare CIC le Ntate Maimane awa. So I think we should not rob our people from this deep yearning and quest to want to own their pieces of land. Right now, Honorable Malema, right now we're going through a particular process in our country, because with the recent land reform process that we embarked on, our rural development department started buying a number of pieces of land and then leasing them out to our people and say, you can take it on lease. Now, the experience that we've got is that many of those people are finding sometimes it difficult to get loans because the banks say, you don't own this piece of land. We can't give you a loan on the basis of a lease. And some of them are coming forward and saying, we want to own, we want to have a sense of ownership of the land that you're distributing to us. So I think my own view is that rather than frustrate this deep quest that our people have about, yes, owning the land, we should not frustrate them by saying you cannot own, this land is now going to be owned by the state. We should allow our people to own the land. And I'm quite happy that we sit down and debate this issue, because the architecture of our land reform must be such that it is empowering to our people. It must lead to transformation, and it must get our people have a sense that they can identify with the land that is now going to be put in their hands. And as we do so, we must obviously take a number of issues into consideration. What you are suggesting was done for the mineral rights of our country. When the government said all the mineral rights are owned by the government, there were a number of people who protested and even took the government to court. But that was a different set of circumstances. In this regard, ordinary people want to have a sense of ownership of a piece of land. And some of them, particularly those whose land was taken away from, want a restoration of the land that was taken from them. So you and I have a lot to talk about, and we can debate this matter. But what is pleasing is that there's growing agreement amongst all of us that the release of land, the transformation that must take place in relation to land, and the expropriation of land is now becoming more and more accepted. We now need to move forward. And moving forward is going to mean that we deal with the categorization of the pieces of land that needs to be given to our people so that it can drive economic growth, it can drive agricultural production, and ensure that there is food security. I think that that's where the debate must now revolve around, because we should no longer be trapped in the argument that, no, you should not move ahead with land reform by utilizing expropriation without compensation as one of the measures. We now need to move ahead, yes, distribute government land and identify a number of pieces of land. And let me say, one of the issues that are coming up is that a number of companies are coming forward, and they are saying to us, Mr. President, we have no business to be owning land. We have large tracts of land that can be parceled out to our people. Our quest is that we should continue doing business, and we want to be in partnership with our people. So a number of solutions and options are being opted for, and those are what we should now be focusing attention on. It was pleasing for me to be hearing people who have been opposing this prospect coming forward and saying, we have solutions. And the other pleasing thing is that there are black farmers' organizations who are now united together with white farmers' organizations who say they want to sit down and come out with a land reform architecture which they can put to government and out to the public. So we are onto something that can lead to really positive results. So I would like all of us as South Africans to move away from this fear psychosis that's been going around, particularly those who are going around and spreading lies and rumors, like organizations like AfriForum, running overseas and saying the ANC is out for a land grab. There is no such thing. The ANC wants to make sure that there is land reform that is going to lead to the growth of our economy. The ANC wants to make sure that there will be increased agricultural production and food security. And if we embrace that type of approach, we are going to solve this problem and restore the dignity of our people by giving them the land that they should have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.